Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to another video of my channel. I'm Kishalay. Hope you all are doing well. So placement session has arrived, and in the next couple of months, in all the IITs and IISc, BTech and MTech students will be participating for the placement in different companies. Now, you guys have requested me that give some tips on how to create an effective CV for your upcoming placement interview. So in this video, I'll be sharing some tips and I'll guide you that how to craft a good CV or how to structure a good CV and what are the things that you must highlight in the CV to showcase your skill set to the employer or to the company where you will be participating for the placement. And specifically, I'll be talking here about the data science profile role, and I'll be talking about what are the things that should be there in your CV if you're targeting a data science role in any product-based company. And at the end of the video, I'll be sharing my personal CV, which I have prepared during my MTech placement at IISc. So that will be there at the end of the video. So please don't skip the video and stay there till the end of the video. And before starting the video, there is someone who has some appeal for you.
मेरा ये चैनल सब्सक्राइब करें और मेरे हर अपडेट आपको मिले इसके लिए बेल आइकन जरूर दबाइएगा।
So please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon and don't forget to hit the like button if you have liked this video. Without any delay, let's get started into today's video. Now, the first thing is that what should be the length of your CV? So typically in all the IITs and IISc, students are recommended to build a two-page concise CV. The advantage is that you can print the CV in the both side of a A4 page and it's easy to carry during the interview session. Now, within this limitation, you must effectively showcase all your skill set and academic qualification within these two pages. Now, let's talk about that what should be there in your CV and how you should craft your CV in a properly structured way. The first section must contain your academic qualification. And if you are an MTech student, you must talk about your MTech degree first, then your BTech degree, and finally your 10th and 12th class details. So in your MTech degree, you must talk about your current affiliation or from which institutions you're pursuing your MTech. What is your current CGPA? That means whenever you're appearing for the placement, what should be your CGPA? And finally, you should highlight your MTech guide name or MTech supervisor's name. And this is very important because if your supervisor is very reputed and well known, then maybe in the interview you will get some advantage. Similarly, for BTech also, you have to mention that from which institutions you have done your BTech and what was the duration. That means in which year you have started your BTech and which year you have completed. What was your CGPA during your BTech, and if you have done any significant project work during your BTech days as a part of your BTech project, then also you should highlight them in your CV. Finally, at the end, you must mention about your schooling education. That means from where you have done your 10th and 12th, which institutions you have done it, and in which year you have appeared for the 10th and 12th exam, and what was your CGPA or percentage that you have scored in those examinations. So that you should mention at the end. In the next section, you should focus on your work experiences, and in this section, you should showcase if you have any full-time job experience in some industry or if you have any internship experience. So you should mention about the company name or the name of the organization where you are part of and what was your role, whether it's a full-time job or the internship, that also you should mention. And you also should mention the duration of your employment or internship for which you have worked for that particular company. And next, you should emphasize on the project or activity that you are part of when you are working for that company. This is very important because that project, that particular project that you have worked on there might get an interest for the interviewer of your panel. And then the interviewer might ask you some detail about those projects that you have done in some other company during a full-time employment or internship. So that's why don't forget to mention about different projects and activity that you have done during your industry experience as a full-time job or maybe during the internship time. By including these minute details in your CV, you are actually giving a comprehensive overview of your work experience to the employer. And for the employer also, it's very easier to them to assess your professional background and your contribution to different projects in different teams. In the next section, you must mention about different projects that you are part of during your MTech or BTech. And here you can keep two kind of projects. The first one is your BTech thesis or MTech thesis, which you have already done, or maybe you are currently working. So please mention the title of the thesis, who is your MTech supervisor or BTech supervisor, and just give a brief detail about that particular project. That's sufficient. On the other type of project, you can mention about the mini project or course project that you have done during crediting a particular course. Now, if you are aiming for a data science role during your placement, then please keep only those projects which are related to machine learning or data science, or maybe which you have done during creating a machine learning course or data science course. And again, here also just give a title of the project, who was your mentor or supervisor for that particular project, and just give a brief detail about the project. And if you have the code base available for these projects, then also mention the GitHub repo link in the CV. The next thing is publication details. It's an optional thing because most of the time a BTech and MTech students, when they'll be appearing for the placement, they doesn't have any publication published yet. So it's not mandatory for all of the students, but if you have a publication in hand, then don't forget to mention about it, because it will be an added bonus for you, specifically if you are looking for a research role in any R&D lab. In the next section, you must mention about different technical skills that you have and all the relevant courses that you have done during your MTech or BTech. In the technical skill part, you should mention about what are the tools or programming languages or different frameworks that you know. Like for AI or data science role, you can mention about different programming languages like Python or C or C++ if you know, or different frameworks like PyTorch, TensorFlow. All of these things are very essential for AI and machine learning role. That's why if you know about it, please mention it in the CV. And also different relevant courses related to data science you must mention. Like if you have done any machine learning based courses or any advanced level courses like natural language processing, computer vision. So all of them, please mention in your CV in this section, that is technical skill and relevant courses. Finally, at the end of your CV, you must mention that what are the languages that you are comfortable with, if there are any extracurricular activity you love to do, and finally, what are the achievements that you have both academically or professionally. Don't forget to mention them in the end of your CV. Finally, one tips or suggestion I'll tell you, that whatever you are mentioning in your CV, you must know it end to end. So if you are mentioning about a project in the project section, then you should know about the project. If you are mentioning about particular skill set that you know, then you must know that particular skill set. If you are saying that I have done this particular course, then you should know about all the details of that course, because it might happen interviewer will get attracted of a particular skill set or course name or a project, and he or she will ask you from that project or that skill set or that course. And if you are not comfortable, it will actually hamper your whole interview process. So whatever you know, that only you should keep in your CV, and whatever you don't know, please don't include it into your CV. It might, mess up the whole process of the interview, and you will eventually won't get selected. Yeah, now I will give you a brief demo about the CV that I have during my MTech placement session in iisc. So please have a look in it. Yeah, so now I will give you a brief demo about the CV that I prepared during my placement session at iisc during my MTech tenure there. So this was the CV that looks like. In the first part, I have mentioned about my different work experiences that is there. So like, as you know, I'm part of ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, for around 1 year. So that I have mentioned here. The role name was scientist or engineer SC. And I have talked about, or I have mentioned different activities, the space related activities that I have done during my days at ISRO. So the brief detail about it I have mentioned in this part. And then, before that, as you know, I have been part of TCS also for some time. I worked there as a system engineer. And I was, primarily working on web development. So that's why I mentioned about it, and different framework that I was working there, and different client names also, for different projects that was there in DC that I also mentioned here. And finally, for around 8 months at the very beginning of my career after BTech, I worked with Accenture, and there I was associate software engineer. So there I was working as a SAP Basis and SAP ABAP developer for DuPont client. So that also I have mentioned here. So the duration is important, the role is important, and a brief detail about that particular work experience you need to mention. Next is education, and as I mentioned here, that if you're an MTech student, you should first talk about your MTech. That's why I mentioned about that I'm doing my MTech from CSE department at IISc Bangalore. My advisor was Professor M. Narasimhamurthy, and when I was appearing for my placement, my CGPA was 8 out of 10. So that's why I mentioned here 8 out of 10. And after that, you have to mention about your BTech. So I've done my BTech from Ignas Science of Technology, Kolkata, and my CGPA was 8.37 out of 10. And finally, I talk about my secondary and higher secondary details. And from this particular institution, Kharagpur, I have done both the secondary, and my percentage was 88 and 83%. So that I have mentioned here. Next, I highlighted the projects that I have done during my MTech, and all of these three projects, they are kind of a full-fledged project, but that these projects I have done during my different courses that I have created during my MTech at iisc. So the first project was network, a dynamic network embedding approach. So this we have done between March 2019 to April 2019 as a part of this course called Topics in Pattern Recognition, which was taken again by my advisor, Professor M. Narasimhamurthy. And then I have given a brief or rough detail about that particular project. The next was comparative performance analysis of network embedding approaches. So this is again I have done as a part of this course called machine learning, which was taught by Professor Ambedkar Dugipati. And here also I have given a brief idea about the project. And finally, I have put one system project here. So under Professor Akubro Basu's supervision in computer architecture course, I have done a research project that was date page prediction in TLB. So research project was there. So that's why I have kept it in my CV, because this was a research project and this is a system project also. So I feel that one system project is good to have in a data science roles CV. So that's why I kept it. So these three are kind of full-fledged project, and though it was part of a course, but it was a full-fledged project that was there. And then I have several mini projects, kind of mini assignments or kind of small project that I have done in different courses. So that also I have mentioned here, their title, who was the supervisor, and what was the course name. So everything again I have written here in the mini project part. And at the end, I have talked about technical skills and relevant courses like programming languages. I have mentioned about Python, C, C++, C has, then this JavaScript, CSS, all of these things I know. And tools and technology, I knew PyCharm, Visual Studio, Android Studio. These different tools I talked about. I also talked about this TensorFlow framework there, because that time I didn't know about PyTorch. So that's why I only talked about TensorFlow. But if you know about Torch also, PyTorch also, you can also mention it. Different courses that I have taken during my MTech at iisc, like topics in pattern recognition, machine learning, linear algebra probability, then optimization, data analytics, algorithm architecture. So all of them I have mentioned here. And finally, I was saying at the end of the CV, you should talk about your interest and activities, different achievements or awards that you have gained both academically and professionally. And finally, whatever the languages that you are comfortable with. So this is how it was my 2-page CV that I have prepared for my placement session at iisc during my MTech. Yeah, that's it. That's it about this video. And I hope from this video, you will have a rough idea how to build your CV and what are the things you must highlight in your CV, so that you can give a comprehensive idea about yourself to the, the employer or interview who will be interviewing it. And I know within few days, your placement session will be starting in IITs and ISCs and different NITs. In IISc, it will be starting from this month only. In IITs and NITs, it will be starting from December. So all the best for all of you. I hope you all will do well in the placement session. And please like this video if you have liked it, and comment something. I mean, you may let me know about my channel and all in the comment section. So please do comment something in the comment section. And if you have any query also, you can comment in the comment section. And as Prime Minister Modi has already said in the beginning of the video, please subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon, so that when I upload a new video, you will get instant notification.
आप सभी को मेरी ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं।
That's it about this video. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then.